Yeah, and you're just in time for the.
You just made it! Ha we have a birthday on the cast today. Our resident female gamer um, has a birthday coming up, so she gets
Aw.
to have one topic. It's all hers. She gets to bring up these topics. It's hers. But before we get into that, just giving you the
We'll
general
save it for the
gist.
later part of
Yeah,
this cast.
it's the latter part of the cast. We have yet more unsung black heroes in gaming. I had to dig deep because after Jerry Lawson and Eugene, I forgot his last name. It was kind of hard. To get into all of that. So after going through Ed Smith, I had to dig deep. But I found another black person who was influential in gaming, and this is one who's still alive. Actually, Ed Smith is still alive too. But yeah, it's. I mean, it's like. I mean, I really don't want to go down
To this.
I really don't want to go down to Reggie
Fizame.
yeah, Reggie Fils-Aimé because
It was a hard search.
like I don't think Reggie's done that much for gaming. Okay, there I said it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but if anything, you at least got one week left to find one more.
Yeah, I got one week to find one more unsung black people in gaming, but it is what it is. So anyway, oh god. So anyway, as I was saying, welcome to BS Busters, where we basically root out, dig up, expose, and then come up with a solution to various bullshit in the video game industry. If you want to get in touch with the channel, you can reach me via Gmail at MrRedFoxBSBusters at gmail.com or at Twitter at Matthew Wesley at MrRedFox91. There's also a link to the Discord in the chat. Underneath this video on YouTube. So if you want to be part of the Discord server, you can do that. So that being said, let's get into BS Busters. We have a few topics in this BS Busters. We've got, like I said, more unsung black heroes in gaming. We also have these topics, game franchises that would make great movies or TV shows. And when did a franchise or series go too far for you? You had to drop it. So this is like the breaking point for certain series of franchises. You used to love them, and they were like, you know what, I can't. You've gone too far, sir. You've gone too far. And then finally, a series of special topics from dual writer Eli Moonstar. So with that being said, let's get into the main topic, one of our main topics, which is game franchises that would make great movies or TV shows. Let's let you guys go first. Who wants to go first?
I This is probably a cliche one, so if anything, I'm at least trying to get the easy pushes out first. Halo, the Halo series would make probably a good TV show or at least a good movie for action purposes.
I can see that. I can see that.
I mean, if
Would it
anything,
be
it
centered
probably.
around Master Chief, or would it be like?
I think, to be honest with you, I would center it around the guys that made their last stand.
So basically, the Spartans who died, and Master Chief was the only survivor.
In a sense, yeah.
All right.
It'd be a bit tragic, but still a good movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Kenoshi, you were gonna say something?
Mine would probably be the Metroid franchise.
Damn, took mine. Okay, go ahead. How would you do it?
It would probably be it would probably go through her origin story. It'd be an origin story movie talking about how her what planet she was on, how her family died.
Was horrifically murdered by space pirates, specifically Ridley.
Yeah. Yeah.
This would have to be like rated R though.
Yeah.
Or either it would have to be either be rated R or be like that hard that PG-13 from the 80s that was like, you know, that PG-13 from the 80s where they could show frontal nudity for like a minute and no one said anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would be pretty interesting. At least getting an origin story. So I just realized, Fred,
Yeah.
you got robbed of your choice. So do you have a backup?
No, I can still go with mine because what he said isn't anything like what I would do. I would basically do a Metroid. I would do a Metroid TV series, but I wouldn't center it on Samus. Because the thing about the Metroid series is that there's this entire world where all this other shit's going on, and Samus is just a small part of it. Like, there's the Federation, there's different other species that are part of the Federation. The space pirates are the problem. There's other shit going on. I would basically make it. I would basically have it be the part of this like Federation investigator who like goes in when bad shit happens and discovers what happened and how to prevent it from happening again. But it would always like it would have some overarching thing that has to do with the pirates, but the character and his or her crew alongside them, they don't know what's going on, and then like maybe have it be like maybe 6 or 8 episodes, and then at the very end they're about to get their asses handed to them, and then Samus comes in and saves their asses. And that would be your but it would explore more of the world and what's going on around it and stuff like that, right? And maybe if it did well enough, you could do a second season where it's like, 7 episodes where you have Samus basically trying to get information on a pirate base she's trying to get to. And it turns out that the pirates themselves have their own little faction. So you have like Kraid's faction that, like, Kraid sets up a patsy to leak information about where Ridley's hidden base is, because he wants to take Ridley out of the picture, but he can't go against Ridley directly. So he basically drops this this stool pigeon that Samus interrogates, all bad cop style, threatening the guy and shit like that. Like, I think that could work.
I feel sorry for that son.
Yeah, because Samus is kind of a cold woman, but when it's dealing with pirates, she goes batshit insane. So,
I would say more like be ready to run for your life.
Yeah, she's not a very how can I put this, nice person, if you will. When it comes with pirates, I mean, you wouldn't be a nice person too if your entire family was murdered by a group of criminals, intergalactic criminals. That type of thing. Because the thing is this, we never really see Samus being a bounty hunter. They say she's a bounty hunter, but you never see her accept money or a contract. Like, it's always against space pirates. Surely there are other people to hunt in the galaxy that commit crimes, yeah? Just,
Yeah.
But what do I know? I'm just some guy. But I have another idea for a franchise that would make a good movie or a TV show or whatever. I would say do a reboot of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yeah, you could probably do something.
Yeah, except make the whole thing animated.
Yeah.
And but make his voice be like it was back in the day and not that high-pitched, shit that they do now. Because that just sounds weird.
Well, people would be upset if it wasn't Charles
That
Martinet.
voice, yeah, but his voice, Mario's voice is fucking annoying. Charles Martinet's version of Mario's voice is annoying. I'm sorry. It's fine for little spurts, but if I had to watch a 22-minute show with commercials,
you'd probably be ripping your hair out.
yeah, it would get annoying after a while. Whereas if you heard like, "Hey Mario, hey Luigi, hand me that plunger," like that kind of makes sense because he is an Italian guy from Brooklyn, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, right on Mario. I got it, Mario. Hey Luigi. Bowser, the king of the Koopas, kidnapped Princess Peach again.
Oh.
You know what we gotta do? You know what we gotta do, brother? That's right. We gotta kick some shell.
Yeah, that would be a better voice. I agree with you.
I mean, everyone likes Charles Martinet, but I never did. I was like, man, I hate that guy's voice. But then again, I grew up with the Super Mario.
It's high pitched.
Yeah, it's annoying. Like, I grew up with the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. So to me, Mario sounding like he's a fucking human being and not like his nuts are in a vice sounds better to me. You know.
I'm sorry. I'd never get a hold of that one.
Yeah, he does. Mario sounds like his nuts are in a vice. It's like, and someone's applying the pressure to them. Salungi Bowser! I'm tired! It's like, okay, yeah, clearly, yeah. Like, the only Charles Martinet voice in the Mario universe that Charles Martinet does that isn't annoying is Wario. Because Wario just has a deeper voice. He's like, I'm a Wario. I'm a number one. Which makes sense, because he's supposed to be this dirty, hairy-ass Italian. Or Greek. I always thought he was Greek, but whatever.
I was going to say greedy rear end.
You know,
Like,
he's
yeah.
kind of disgusting. He picks his nose, he farts, he scratches his ass. You know, he's a dirty bastard, you know.
A dirty, money hunting bastard.
Yeah, and that's what makes Wario fun, because he's a greedy... Matter of fact, you could do a Wario TV show, where, like, Wario basically, like a Wario cartoon, where Wario shows up and tries to steal shit. It could be like reverse, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, except it could be about Wario World, so Wario's Worlds, which is vastly different from every other Nintendo world. Like, I'd do that. And his enemy / sometimes ally, but it's always uneasy, could be Captain Syrup, who's like the polar opposite of Wario, because Wario's disgusting and ugly and not very attractive, whereas Captain Syrup is this petite, hot pirate captain.
Not to be confused with something from Shantae, mind you.
She does look kind of like Shantae, actually. I mean, not Shantae. She does look... actually, the idea for her is kind of like Risky Boots from Shantae.
From the series?
Yeah, from Shantae. Except Captain Syrup, like I said, is, you know, she's the polar opposite. They're both greedy bastards, but, you know, she and Wario are both greedy bastards, but she's hot, whereas Wario is fucking ugly. Like,
yeah,
horrendous looking.
It's like watching day and night go by.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. I would basically that's what I would do in order to make a Mario. That's what I would do in a Mario. That's what I would do. I would do 3. My last one was an idea that I was thinking about a while ago when I came up with this topic, which was do like a Smash Brothers TV show, where basically you have all of these Nintendo action figures and like other action figures come to life and beat the shit out of each other in this fictional world. But I was like, it's kind of hard to get it to come together because there's so many different characters and so many ways that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything has to connect. But then I thought to myself, wait a second, I don't have to make it all connect. What if the Smash Brothers was like an hour-long animated special where you just like, maybe you had the characters from the Mario animated show go to another world, get sucked down a pipe and go into another world, and then they start attacking people because they still think they're in their world, and they can't be stopped. So the people in the world they went to call the police on them, but they beat up the police. So they're like, we need a bounty hunter, and they call the best bounty hunter they can find. So they get Samus and Captain Falcon, who are both bounty hunters in their respective universes. And so then that's how you could have your Smash Brothers thing. Like everyone gets pulled in, you know? Like maybe like once a season you do an hour-long special that's like the Smash Brothers special where it's like, you know, all these different properties get pulled in, you know, beating the shit out of each other. I think that could totally work. But, you know.
I could go with that, especially if certain series having good crossover potential.
Yeah, and that's just me though. That's just me. So with that being said,
Of course.
What?
Of course.
Yeah. So with that being said, anyone else have any ideas before we move on to the next topic?
Nah. Make a Legend of Zelda movie.
Yeah, people always say that, but
I was about to say, isn't that the most cliche of the bunch with the three of us?
no. The only reason I'm kind of worried about making about a Legend of Zelda movie is because, like,
The voice.
well, not just that. Three reasons. First of all, I don't really want to hear Link talk. First of all, that's the first one. Second of all, if you're gonna do a Legend of Zelda movie, it's like, how would you basically make that work? You know what I mean?
Well, I wouldn't. Well, Link wouldn't be a.
Link wouldn't be the main character; it'd be from someone else's
Link
point of
wouldn't
view.
be the character. It'd be from somebody else's point of view.
All right.
You'd also have maybe a movie about the imprisoning war. You know, the war that's mentioned on the. I think it's Link to the Past. I think it's that.
They mention it in a lot of Legend of Zelda games. They mention it in Link to the Past. They mention it in Twilight Princess. Matter of fact, you see where they imprison Ganondorf and throw his ass into the Twilight realm in Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of have you know, sort of a narrator. So it'd probably be animated. It's like say if Link does show up in the movie, it's like a narrator.
Yeah, that would work. Like a basically a prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than.
That could work. I'd be cool with that. I'd be totally okay with that. 100% okay with it.
Just as long as Link doesn't open his trap.
Well, I mean, from what he's describing, there is no Link because it's pre-Link. It's basically telling it's more like the source of this conflict and shit between these different groups, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just like on a personal level, I don't want to see a Legend of Zelda movie where Link is in it and talking. You know what I mean? Because that's where they kind of fucked up with Metroid Other M, was that they had Samus talking, and really, like in every other game, she doesn't talk. So it sounds weird to have her talking and have a personality aside from being extremely stoic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about
God,
did the fire start when that happened?
What about an F-Zero movie?
Yeah, I'd be cool with that.
With the, like, you know,
like
illegal
basically,
street
it could be
racing or
like
whatever.
a racing movie, like Days of Thunder or or
Not the cheesy Speed Racer.
yeah, it could be like Speed Racer, but it would totally make sense if it had ridiculous ass tracks because it's F-Zero, you know.
You know, you got me there. Bravo.
You could have that awesome music for different levels. It's like they're now racing in Mute City, you know. And you could make it all you could make it CGI and it would totally like it would look fake, but it's supposed to because it's a video game, you know. Considering that Sonic came out, and oh yeah, let me get this out of the way. Everyone's like the Sonic movie is good. Look, the Sonic movie is good not because of the CGI Sonic, but because Jim Carrey totally committed to that role as playing Dr. Robotnik. Like that is the best part of that entire movie.
Both.
No.
That's kind of why I want to see it.
No, Sonic the Hedgehog's fucking annoying in the movie, but Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, here's the thing.
He's a teen. What do you expect?
If you want to see what Jim Carrey, okay, take 1/3 Dr. Robotnik from the kids TV show that came on during the week when we were kids. Then take 1/3 of the menacing evil Robotnik that was kind of scary in
from the Saturday morning
cartoon. And then add in Ace Ventura Pet Detective. Just Jim Carrey just totally committing to being just zany as fuck. And you've got Dr. Robotnik in this movie. Like there's a scene in this movie where he walks into James Marsden's house and he's like talking shit. He's like, I could kill you right now and no one will say anything. They cover it up. I get away with it. And it's like, my God, this is totally fucking awesome. A villain that actually doesn't give a fuck. I love it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I agree with you. It's just that if anything, I would say it's both. Since if anything, the Sonic's personality is, well, it's a of a teen and it may annoy, but I could also understand it kind of.
No. For me, Sonic the Hedgehog is just fucking annoying. So even the character in this movie is like, I don't like you. But me rooting for Dr. Robotnik trying to kill him, I was great. I was okay with that. I'm like, yeah, get it.
You are sadistic in some interesting ways.
No, I just.
Well, the thing is, Sonic is, annoying as a cartoon character.
Yeah. I mean, because basically this version of Sonic is like a really annoying and let me put it this way. Like, have you ever seen a kid who's like really, really hyperactive? You know what I mean? Like really hyperactive, okay? Like, I mean ADD hyperactive, okay? Where they have to take
that would be in the single digits.
Yeah, they have to take. Yeah, they have to take like medication. And then one day they don't take their medication and then they eat sugar, like something that's really sugary and sweet, and they just start going fucking crazy. That's basically Sonic the Hedgehog in this movie. And it's like, dude, you're annoying. I hate you.
Yeah.
I wish you would die. That's basically how I Here's the thing, I'm not a big Sonic fan, but like you're supposed to there are characters who I find annoying that over time I kind of care about. Like I didn't like the Minions, okay? I didn't. Like I didn't like Gru from Despicable Me. But over time, like it's like, oh, okay, so like you're like, man, I don't like this character, but then you see his mother and how she treats him. It's like, oh, so that's why he's the way he is. Okay, that makes sense. You know?
Yeah.
Like, him basically falling in love and, all that stuff. It's like, okay, they make you care about a character who's initially very annoying. But Sonic the Hedgehog's never gotten that threshold for me. I'm just like, dude, you're fucking annoying, dude. Go away. Like, I wish you would just go away. But in this movie, the only good thing about this movie to me that makes it interesting is, like I said, it's Jim Carrey. Because basically, if you grew up with crazy Jim Carrey, if you grew up with Ace Ventura, The Mask, Ace Ventura 2, if you grew up with that Jim Carrey, this movie is good because Jim Carrey. Because here's the thing, Jim Carrey commits. I love that Jim Carrey just commits. He commits completely. I love actors that commit completely.
Yes. I cannot. I may be I may be a partial fan of Sonic, but oh god, Jim Carrey could ham up the screen.
I mean, there's a scene in this movie where he's dancing his ass off, and there's like a holographic T-Rex. All I'm gonna say is this: it is like this is what you want. Okay, you want Jim Carrey. Like, here's the thing: this movie, I'm gonna keep it real. It isn't overall. It's not that good, but Jim Carrey saves it. Jim Carrey saves this movie from being terrible. Like, he brings it from being not good to being up to like, oh, this is watchable, but only because of Jim Carrey. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Hey, I at least get what you're going for. It's just if anything, I see it a bit differently.
like like it's kind of like, for me, Sam Jackson's one of those actors that even in a bad movie, I watch it because Sam Jackson's in it. Jim Carrey, Sam Jackson's this movie for me. It's like, this movie's terrible, but Sam Jackson, but Jim Carrey's really saving it, you know? That's so if you want to, like, if you grew up with Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and Ace Ventura, Pet Detective 2, When Nature Calls, and The Mask, like, Jim Carrey just going out of his just insane physicality, Jim Carrey just fully committing to the insanity of this bullshit. This movie is saved because Jim Carrey goes 150%. And if you hate Sonic the Hedgehog, you're rooting for him to kill his ass. You're like, fuck you, you piece of shit. Like, get him.
You haven't
Get
made
him.
a good game in 20, 30 years.
A good,
Oh,
a good
come
3D,
on.
a good 3D game. I mean, to me, okay, Sonic 1 is good. It's the first game, so you got to give it a pass for a lot of shit. Sonic 2 is also good. Sonic 3 kind of goes a little bit too much. Because this is when they started adding all these extra characters that no one gave a shit about. Sonic and Knuckles is more Sonic 3. It's like a peripheral for a video game. I'm like, why? Then you get Sonic. Then you enter the dark ages of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic CD is pretty good, but that game could have been on the Saturn. I don't know why they put it on the Sega CD, because no one's gonna buy that fucking expensive ass peripheral.
How much did Sonic 3 and Knuckles cost?
I think Sonic 3 was like $40 or $50 back in the day, like $40, but you gotta adjust for inflation. So let's just say 60 in today's dollars. And then I think Sonic and Knuckles was like $50, because the thing is that you could put, if you played Sonic 1, 2, or 3 with the Sonic and Knuckles attachment on it, it basically, you could play as Knuckles in those games. So that was the cool thing. So it was like, it was basically Sonic and Knuckles was like Sonic 4 before Sonic 4 came out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically, like Sonic CD was pretty good, but then you got Sonic Rush, which, then you got the other Sonic game, Sonic 3D, which was. Then you got Sonic Racing, which. Sorry, Sonic R.
I was gonna say there's some games from Sonic that are good, some games that are bad, and some games that make you say,
Sonic
"Really?"
Spinball. Basically, like from the 5th gen up to the 6th gen, like the whole like Sega CD, Sega 32X, Sega Saturn, the Sonic games we were getting were not that good. Okay, they bordered on mediocre to okay. Then you get to the Dreamcast with Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure is a good game, but compared to, like, because people always like to compare Sonic with Mario. Is Sonic Adventure as good of a first 3D outing as Mario had with Mario 64? Fuck no. It's all, like, that game is all style, no substance. Like, go back and play it. Invisible walls every fucking where.
Yeah.
It's like you spent all this processing power to build this awesome looking level, and I can't go anywhere. I'm on rails. What the fuck is wrong with you? When a 2D game has more freedom of movement than a 3D game, there's something wrong.
Clearly.
And then Sonic Adventure 2, which, like when Sonic went to 3D, it basically went from okay debut to better to better, and then after the first 3D Sonic games, it kind of went downhill after that. So it's like Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic, which includes DX, and then Sonic Heroes, which is pretty good, and then after that, it's just all downhill. And then just Sonic hasn't really been good as of the last few years. It just hasn't really been a good series. And I won't say 30 years. I would say the last good Sonic game. I mean, Sonic Lost World was good.
Sonic Mania, but that's a 2D.
That's
game.
a 2D game,
That's
yeah.
pretty-
But the last good 3D Sonic game I played was Sonic Lost World.
Yeah.
Which kind of tells you how mixed of a history they are.
So, but that's just me. And I know some people would disagree because people love to disagree with everything you say because that's the world we live in. Oh, for those of you who may or may not give a shit, Epic Game Store is giving away free games. And this week, they're giving away Kingdom Come Deliverance and Aztez. Next week, they'll be giving away Assassin's... Well, actually, tomorrow, they'll be giving away Feria and Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Now, here's the thing. I don't like the Epic Game Store, but I'm totally going to get these free games because I'm not going to buy Assassin's Creed Syndicate. But if they want to give it to me for free, I'll take it. You know, I would never buy Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but I'll totally take it for free.
This shows what kind of person Red Fox is at times, ladies and gentlemen.
No, man, that's life in general. It's like first class, right? Like when I made a lot less money, I would never pay for first class, but if they're gonna if they're gonna upgrade my seat for free to first class, why would I turn that down? You know, like that's stupid. You know? Oh no, I want to sit where I have no leg room whatsoever. No, man, why would I?
Hey,
You've never paid for class or never gone?
No. When I didn't make as much money, like when I was poorer, younger and poorer and didn't make as much money, like I'd have to fly a lot, and sometimes, like if I was on a flight, they'd upgrade me to first class, and I was like, sure, I'll take it. Like who's gonna turn down a free upgrade to first class?
Oh, okay.
Like who's gonna turn down? Like I don't like the Epic Game Store, but if they're gonna give me a game that I heard is okay, but I wouldn't actually pay to get, but they're gonna give it to me for free, why not? Shit. I don't know.
I can understand that at least.
Look, I'm not gonna.
So if anything, I'm usually the one that thinks of if it's worth it, if I would go for it, if it's free or full price.
No, I mean, I feel the same way about Nintendo's online. Like, I got it through what was it called? Through Amazon Prime, through Twitch
Amazon.
Prime, through Twitch Prime, through my Amazon Prime. It's like I wouldn't pay for that myself, but if I can get it for a ridiculously low price, free 99, if you will, I'll totally do that. Like
Okay.
why pay for something when you don't have to? That
Exactly.
You too.
I mean, damn, that's that's I mean, but then again, I'm a cheap bastard. I'm the type of person who will wait. Like, if I buy something and I get a really good deal, and then I find out a week later that the price went down even more, like, even if it's just like $20 or $30, I'm like, shit, had I waited. I get so angry when that happens.
Yeah. That's why I never buy a game at launch.
I just really, like, that's the thing where I'm just like, look, you know, I refuse to. I don't like that. I'm a cheap bastard like that. I just do not, you know. That's my, you know, everyone has their own you know, has their own bottom line, and that's mine. I refuse to spend, like, if I don't have to spend full price, I won't. I mean, there's some things where they never go on sale and you just got to bite the bullet, you know? Like,
Yeah, like Nintendo games or Call of Duty games.
well, no, Call of Duty games get cheap all the time.
I was gonna
Like
say,
literally,
have
like
you
3
seen the
months after it comes
last
out,
one?
they're like, you know, they were like $5. That shit doesn't hold its value, which is why Activision started doing season passes and DLC, because they weren't making money on the base game, because a lot of people weren't getting that shit day one, so they had to get their money somehow. So they're like, okay, well, we got to do season passes and shit like that. Yeah, I'm cheap. I'm cheap like that, man. I don't feel bad about it. You know, I know some people are like, oh man, why would you spend that type of money? Man, I'm cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Why, you know.
You know, I mean, now there's some things I'll splurge on, like like when I fly to Japan, or, you know, go across country for conventions and shit like that. Like, when I was poor, I'd fly business class, but now that I got money, I'm like, shit, man, first class. First class. First class. Goddamn. First class. I've lost a lot of weight and it's not as uncomfortable as it used to be, but goddamn it, it just, once you fly first class and you get leg room, you get better service, I just I don't want to be uncomfortable. Cuz flying's already uncomfortable. You got to go through all that shit. You got to look at this and see
security,
this. Security, got to pull off your
waiting.
shoes, you got to wear certain clothes so then you can, you know, and I like to wear a belt. You got to take off your belt. It's like, you know, it's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's just so much easier.
Blame the idiots that goes by air.
Man, look, listen. I would rather fly than drive. I'll tell you that much right now. I would rather fly than drive. Especially, like, you know, if I'm flying out of the country, it doesn't make sense to drive or take the train or the bus or anything like that. And most of the time, you know, where I'm flying, like I'm flying to the Midwest or the West Coast, or you know, like even I've had times where I had to fly to New York. I'm not driving to New York, so I can be all, you know, all discombobulated and shit.
Yeah.
You crazy? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I mean, I live in the DC metropolitan area, so I mean, like for me to drive to New York isn't that long of a drive, but it's just like, here's the thing. That's what I'm laughing about. Like, here's the thing. I'm going from the third highest traffic area in America to arguably the first or the second. I think California's the first now. New York used to be the first. So I'm going from the third to the second. Why would I drive into more traffic? That makes no sense.
Yeah. That's
stupid. I'm sorry. It's cheaper for me to either take the train to New York, or to take an airplane. Airplane's faster. So, you know, and there's like, if you get like a cheaper flight, you can upgrade to business. Well, a lot of the local short distance flights, they don't have first class. They have business class, which is like the equivalent thereof. You get more space and shit like that. So I'll do business class if that's the best they have available. But if I'm doing cross country or going to another country, first class these days. First class, goddammit. I'm not gonna be uncomfortable. You can sit in the back with those other peons.
The things I gotta deal with these guys.
You broke ass motherfuckers. I'm being facetious. Where I sip my coffee with my pinky out in first class. Having
Careful.
a
Maybe
nice
hot.
Dematasi Italian coffee. When I flew to Japan,
getting a filet mignon while they're all eating crackers and drinking cheap alcohol.
oh no, they don't even give you crackers anymore. I remember when I was a little kid, they used to give you a whole fucking soda, right? Like if you ordered, if you got a Coke or Sprite or whatever, a juice, they gave you the whole bottle and ice and water. Now they meet it out. It's like, well, you can have half a cup of soda. I'm like, come on, man.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard the airport stuff has gotten, or the flying service has gotten a little bit worse over the years.
When I was a kid, they actually, if you had a flight that was like over, I think it was 3 hours, they gave you an in-flight meal. And it was an actual, like it was a sandwich, maybe some chips. But still, it was something to kind of hold you over till you got to where you were going. Now, they just give you a little thing of like maybe 3 or 4 pretzels in a bag and half a soda. I'm like,
I don't think you're allowed to take your own food on plane.
Now, if it's a small thing of water, like it's got to be a certain size because they want to charge you in the thing. It's some bullshit.
God, flying sounds awful.
Well, here's the sad thing, right? Is that the airline industry is one of the most heavily subsidized industries in the United States, and yet they still fuck over their customers. Even when you consider that the federal government is using our tax dollars to subsidize the airports.
Well, there's not a lot of competition in the air.
Oh, I mean, there is competition, but I mean, it's like they're all colluding in order to keep prices high for each other. So,
geez.
you know,
that's the
the only rogue one out is Southwest because Southwest is cheap as fuck, but they're like, look, we'll do it for $5. But yeah, went off tangent right there. So when did a franchise or series go too far for you and you had to drop it? It was like, look, I was with you up to this point, now I'm out.
I could give you an entire genre of game and one game in general.
Okay.
I'll start with the entire genre in general because that probably would indicate where I come from in a sense.
Okay.
And it'd probably be around PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 when it comes to something like the NBA game. Oh, God.
Really?
When they start charging you for trying to use some certain features with one-time codes, I just said nope, enough. And if anything, I'm glad I didn't try to jump on to the NFL.
All right. Okay. Kenoshi?
I think for me it was the Call of Duty games. I think the last game I was into was Black Ops 2, and then after that, I think it's got even more egregious with their season passes and all this other stuff, and the way they were balancing the game is just like, nah, I don't need to play these games anymore. Yeah,
I can't. I'm out. I can't continue to.
Support it anymore?
I can't continue to support this bullshit. Sorry. I'm out.
What about you, Red?
I'm gonna have to say Pokemon.
And funny enough, I was going to go there myself.
Yeah.
So if anything, you probably got off earlier than I did.
I mean, I've got two of them, but the first one's a Nintendo centric one, which is Pokemon. I would have to say when Pokemon the new Ruby and Sapphire came out, and they had less content than the last games, than the original.
You
games.
went out Generation 6.
There was no Battle Frontier.
Yeah.
Like,
if
so
anything,
there was no post game. It was just all. It was like, really, this is like their post game was like this
little style chateau.
Yeah, the Battle Chateau, which was stupid. I was like, this is what you're giving us. I was like, I'm done.
Believe it or not, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm
with
done.
that one because if anything, I had to wonder what.
Yeah, I was.
And
yeah, at that point,
I
was
consider.
like,
I didn't. And with you, Red Fox, I am getting done with Pokemon in a sense.
You know.
But I quit it after. I quit one game later.
I did. Yeah. And then I saw Sun and Moon. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I was like Token
As
from.
I said, with me.
I was like Token from that South Park episode where they have it was like a parody of Lord of the Rings, but it was a porno. It was a porno tape. And he's like, I shall look at the tape, and we shall see. And he they didn't show what was on the tape, but he saw it. He's like, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. He's like, I can't. I'm done. Like that's basically how I felt about Pokemon Sun and Moon. I was like, I can't. I'm done.
Yeah, with me, I saw a real decline with Sun and Moon, and I actually played it, but it was the last game I wanted to even buy at all. Since when I saw the Ultra game, I said nope.
Yeah.
Especially since they pulled that game out a year. Wait a second, under a year by one day, mind you, of the first game of the 7th generation's release.
Yeah, and the other game that just basically kind of made me say, the other franchise that I'm kind of done with at this point is Final Fantasy, and that was Final Fantasy 13. Like I played the other games in that series, but I didn't buy them. I would borrow them from friends and play through them. Like, yeah, this game sucks. So Final Fantasy 13, I'm done with Final Fantasy.
13 was a mess in itself.
Yeah, 13 was basically the Final Fantasy that broke me. And I'm saying this as a Final Fantasy fan. Like, at this point, I will play a Final Fantasy game, but I won't buy it. I'll, borrow it from a friend of mine, play through it, play through it, and then be like, yeah, it still sucks. You know?
Yeah. That's how I felt with Pokemon, but with a different game. But if anything, I understand where you're coming from. Since if anything, 10 was the last Final Fantasy game I played that really drew me in, and well, if anything, Titus was the only thing that kept it from being anything better.
Yeah. Titus really makes 10 10 would be a great Final Fantasy if Titus wasn't in it. But Titus is in it, and he's he's a central character, so it kind of makes it
but if
hard
anything,
to play.
I consider it a guilty pleasure because if anything, it was the last game of a certain person before 10-2 arrived. And
10-2 is bad. I would say 12 is pretty good. I mean, except for the fact that 12 isn't a Final Fantasy game; it's a Final Fantasy Tactics RPG. So if you like Final Fantasy Tactics, 10 is a jam. Really.
But seriously, F13 in its entire legacy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 13, it kind of makes me upset that Square Enix keeps trying to make Lightning a thing.
Lightning.
They're like, yeah, man, Lightning's really popular in Japan. I'm like,
where in the world is Lightning popular in Japan?
Yeah, I have friends in Japan, and they don't like her at all. So who? Now, this is just the few people that I know. I don't know every gamer in Japan, but I know she's not that popular because they've done polls in Japan, with a decent amount of people replying, and she's not the character for a lot of people. You know, she doesn't have the popularity of a Cloud Strike, even though Cloud is boring as fuck.
And remember, this is discounting the other appearances of Cloud Strife.
Yeah, I'm going by the original game, not the supplemental material. So it's like, and here's the thing, Cloud Strife. I mean, let me go look at, because I think there's a poll of the most popular Final Fantasy characters.
And if you're wondering, the personal favorites for us will be Locke and a few other characters from Final Fantasy's past, from 1 through 6. If I got it right.
Here, there's a poll. Japan ranks their favorite Final Fantasy characters, and I'm gonna do the female characters and the male characters. The female characters, let's see. Okay, this is from a few years ago. So number one is, oh god, it is Lightning in Japan. No, but wait, this is from 2013. So I'm gonna look.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think yeah. Here,
that scared the living stars out of me.
Yeah, it's from 2013, so things change. The top 15 most popular Final Fantasy characters. Okay. This is a Nico popularity poll. Okay. These are the top 15 characters in Final Fantasy, and this was done in 2017. I think this is a 2017 poll. Let me check. Yeah, this is a Nico poll from 2017, I think. So the number one character is Cloud. The number 2 is Sephiroth. Number 3 is Titus. Number 4, Yuna. Number 5, Squall. Number 6 is Lightning. Number 7 is Tifa. Number 8 is Bartz. That's the main character from
Final Fantasy 4.
No, Final Fantasy 5. Number 9 is Locke. Number 10 is Noctis. Number 11 is Auron. Number 12 is Cecil. Number 13 is Terra. Number 14 is Zack. Number 15 is Zidane.
Wait a second. Did I hear who I think I heard was at 13?
Yeah.
She deserved.
Yeah, she did. This one is from 2017 as well. The number one most popular character with 8.5% of the vote is Lightning from Final Fantasy. So I guess she is popular in Japan. My God,
that's a bit scary.
You guys have shitty taste.
And remember, this is the character, the one that created her or created the games that she's in. Said one of the best things about messing with her was giving her a bigger size.
Yeah, he's like, we made her breasts bigger, and I'm like, really? That's not really what I call.
Take that as you will.
Yeah. However, the number one male most popular character is Zack Fair, so,
Yeah,
okay, there you go.
I have to wonder about some people's taste in that region. But then again, this is from the same people that gave us interspecies reviewers.
However, IGN did a poll, and the most popular characters from Final Fantasy, as voted by IGN readers, the most popular Final Fantasy characters of all time. Number 1 is obviously Cloud Strife. Number 2 is Sephiroth. Number 3 is Auron. Number 4 is Tifa Lockhart. Number 5 is Vivi Ornitier, the Black Mage doll.
That's a surprise.
Number 6 is Vincent Valentine. Number 7 is Squall Leonhardt. Number 8 is Kefka Palazzo. Number 9 is Red 13. And number 10 is Beatrix. So these are a whole bunch of fuckers who didn't play anything beyond Final Fantasy VII. You losers. You only played Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9.
If you
Dumbasses.
ask me, I only see a few good ones in that entire list.
I would say there's
Basically
only
near
one,
the bottom.
and that's Kefka right there, because he's a great villain. The most popular Final Fantasy characters, as voted by IGN readers, the 12 most popular. So number 13 is Lightning. Number 12 is Bosch from Final Fantasy 10, or not 10, 12, which is not a Final Fantasy game. Number 10 is Auron. Number 9 is Vivi. Number 8 is Squall. Number 7 is Final Fantasy Tactics. They're going by game. So the most popular character in 13 is Lightning. She's the only character people fucking remember from that game. God damn.
Of course she be remembered.
That's stupid. No. These polls are stupid.
I agree with you to a certain
If
point
you put a gun to
because
my head and
seriously,
said, name a character aside from Lightning from Final Fantasy 13, I couldn't do it because I don't remember that game. And I beat it. I don't remember that game.
yeah, I mean,
Did they ever explain that terminology you kept throwing around at the beginning of the games? Like,
No.
you have to go into the menu and read
Let me
in
put it
order
this
to
way.
figure
You
out
could
what
do
the
a
fuck is going on.
doctoral-
You could do a
so
doctoral
we shouldn't have to-
dissertation on the amount of bullshit that's in Final Fantasy 13. Like, those games are not good. Because every other Final Fantasy game, if someone said, explain the game to me, you could do it. If someone said, explain Final Fantasy 13 to you, it's like, some shit happened, and you got to stop it from happening, so that's the game.
I kind of want to play through those games just to see.
You probably wouldn't figure out what the heck is going on in the game until years after you played it.
I mean, you could do a doctoral, like I said, you could do a doctoral dissertation on Final Fantasy 13 and how badly made that game is. For not just as a Final Fantasy game, but just in general, it's just very poorly made. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Final Fantasy 13 is the game that just basically made me say, fuck this franchise. Next, our final... well, actually, no. Before we get to our final topic, which is the newest topic, our unsung hero in gaming is Gordon P. Bellamy.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, Gordon P. Bellamy is an African-American video game producer. And for those of you who are like, who the hell is Gordon P. Bellamy? Well... I gotta... It might not seem like he's a guy, but Gordon P. Bellamy is actually native. So Gordon P. Bellamy is an American video game executive. He has over 19 years of experience of leadership in the interactive entertainment industry. Gordon was the executive director of the International Game Developers Association from August 2010 until July 2012. Bellamy was born in Washington, D.C. and raised in Reston, Virginia. Gordon attended Beauvoir School in the Kent Gardens, where he was a member of Shannisville, a third-grade gifted and talented class taught by Laura Shanis. Shannisville alumni include Andy Gavin, Gary Shank, and Sarah Hyung Yang. He went on to attend the Johns Hopkins University Center for Talented Youth and the Duke University's Talent Identification Program. In 1984, Gordon was a member of the national champion Math Counts team for Virginia, who won the inaugural competition. Gordon attended Southlakes High School, Phillips Exeter Academy, the Virginia Governor's School programs, and St. Paul's School. In 1987, he was chosen to join the prestigious Research Science Institute College. Oh God, no, that was all in high school. Yeah, this dude's got lots of stuff under his belt. He's pretty badass. Gordon was admitted early and earned a BA from Harvard College in Engineering. He's a Harvard boy, where he also
Dang.
is a John Harvard scholar and an AT&T Bell Labs engineering scholar. He wrote articles for the Harvard Crimson. It's their sports newspaper. Gordon has spent the last 19 years producing and marketing interactive content and developing strategic business partnerships with video game publishers, social media developers, and technology partners. As an executive consultant for MTV, Bellamy provided creative guidance on the content direction and strategic marketing partnerships for the annual Spike TV Video Game Awards show and the highly rated program Game Trailers TV with Jeff Keighley. Also on Spike TV. Previously, he was executive director of the game industry trade organization, the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. Now, here's where the dark thing comes in. No pun intended on the guy being a dark-skinned black guy. Bellamy has also played key business and product development roles at Electronic Arts, where he was named the company's Rookie of the Year for his work on the Madden NFL franchise, THQ, and Activision subsidiary Z-Axis. Gordon previously served as a chair of the board of the International Game Developers Association and serves as a judge for the ProMax BDA MI6 Awards, which celebrate the best in marketing, advertising, design within interactive and game entertainment. So there you go.
That's quite a history.
Yeah. So yeah, I told you I would every week we would have someone of African American descent who is in fact,
Yeah, and it was a surprise that you pulled this one up at the last minute because you know who we were gonna go for, right?
Yeah, I was gonna do Reggie Fils-Aimé, but the thing is that I don't particularly. I didn't want to go with Reggie Fils-Aimé, for reasons.
Yeah, but if anything, you at least you got one more week to try to see if you can find one.
I just didn't want to go with Reggie Fils-Aimé, so I didn't.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that being said, yeah. So we salute you, Gordon Bellamy. All right. So now on the Jules topics. Go ahead, birthday girl.
Even though my birthday's not until tomorrow, I'll at least pull up my topic, and it's basically, well, we kind of ran through it in a sense already, but I'll go into it just for the fun of it. My history with Sonic as in the series, for me, I played Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic Knuckles together, and I played both Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. And I even played some of the offshoot games, which were kind of weird, like Sonic Fighters. And my last game that I played is basically Sonic Mania. And my history basically was pretty good since I actually was able to evade some of the weirder times with Sonic. Especially his 3D out. Those things were. But I consider Sonic's history to be basically mixed. If you look into his 2D section, there's a lot of gold in there. A few bits of silver, but plenty of gold. When you look at his 3D side, well... And I'd say, if anything, I wonder who in the Hades is going to be able to make Sonic good at 3D.
It's actually all in your gut.
But that's
Cardiothoracic surgeon Stephen Gunther says he's solved the weight loss mystery.
You
likely
really
as a
have
thunderbolt.
changed the way I
Hit
think
you in the
about
head.
what I eat.
Best book I've seen on diet ever.
You did. How about you, Red?
I mean, could you repeat what you said? I'm sorry.
I was talking about my history of Sonic and was saying that if if somebody tries to make another 3D game with Sonic, then I say their luck of making it a great game is like getting hit in the head with a lightning bolt.
I mean, look, listen. I'll be honest with you. I do think they can do a good 3D Sonic game. It's just not going to come from Sega.
And in a sense, I could agree with you. Seriously. Sega probably would never get that right.
You know, it's like people said we couldn't have a 3D Castlevania game, right? Remember? Like, we can't have a 3D Castlevania game. And then THQ made Darksiders, which, I mean, for all intents and purposes, the first two Darksiders games are basically a 3D Castlevania game. So, I mean, you can take a gothic gameplay style where you're fighting, you know, enemies and bosses and shit like that, and using certain items and abilities in order to take on enemies. You could totally make that into a, you know, you could take the idea, the art style, all that shit from a Castlevania game and make it in a 3D space. Just the thing is just you need someone who's willing to look at things from a different viewpoint. Like, if you did a 3D Sonic game, you couldn't, like, I'm tired of 3D Sonic games where everything's on rails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, though, if anything, the only reason why I see them doing that is because they want to convey what speed is.
Yeah, they want the sense of speed, but here's the problem, right? The whole point of having a 3D space is exploration and seeing the cool shit you can do. There's no exploration in a 3D Sonic game. You're just running on rails everywhere. There's no, you know, and I will give Sonic Boom this much credit. They did try to add a sense of exploration to certain areas, but that game was made in, like, I want to say like 18 months. And it wasn't really designed to be on that hardware. So, you know, Sega screwed Big Red Button. I'm not saying they're completely blameless. I'm just saying that Sega did not help with their bullshit, you know?
Yeah. As I said, whoever tries to make a new Sonic 3D game, I consider the chances of having it be a great hit is as likely as getting hit with lightning on the head. But then again, as long as Sega keeps their hands off it, there might be a chance.
Yeah, the thing is that Sega has not made a good, like, 3D Sonic game in years. Like, I would say Lost World was good, but it still suffered from, oh, we're on rails running around yet again.
Well, they had an interesting idea. They just didn't
Yeah. Sonic Lost World was a good first step. And I would say even Sonic Unleashed had some good ideas where you had the Werehog levels where it wasn't you running around, it was you beating the shit out of enemies. And that was a change of pace. And people are like, well, Sonic should just run fast. In a 2D game, I agree with you, Sonic should run fast. But on, like, you know, other games where...
On a 3D plane?
Yeah, on a 3D plane, he shouldn't be always just running fast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sonic should be a little bit more about just running fast.
Or use his speed to do cool shit, like run up a wall, explore on top of a building. I mean, it shouldn't just always be, oh, he's running fast. Look how fast he can run.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah, gotta go fast. It's like, okay, I get it. He's Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay.
What can he use his speed for? That's probably the main thing that everybody wants to hear.
Yeah, I mean, like they did in Sonic CD with time travel and whatnot. I mean, for example, it's you know a lot about comic books, right? So, for example, the superhero The Flash, I'm sure there's a lot more to his character than just being able to run fast.
Well, yeah. And if you were to do a video game where the Flash was in it, there's other shit that the character can do aside from he just runs really fast. I mean, it's annoying. It's so annoying, especially in a 3D space. Like, there's so much other cool shit Sonic the Hedgehog could be doing, but all they do in the 3D game is, oh look, he can run fast on rails.
Zoom.
Oh, he's being chased by a whale. He's running behind an explosion. He's being chased by a truck. It's like, can we do something different, please, in these 3D games? Please, please, please. Fucking Sonic the Hedgehog. I know you fanboys love Sonic the Hedgehog, but please stop.
Yeah. I mean, Sonic has potential, but it's usually stuck in his 2D game.
Yeah, I get. Yeah. It's. I mean, like I said, I mean, do you think it's ironic, if you will, that the best 2D Sonic game that's come out for a while was made by fans of Sonic the Hedgehog and not Sega themselves? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I feel sorry for the character, but not sorry for the franchise.
I feel
Because
sorry for the franchise.
Because they finally got a chance to show what Sega's been missing out on, and where we Sonic Forces.
I mean, could you imagine a 3D Sonic game where, like, instead of like the game has 3 locations. You have a city, like you could call it Egg City, Eggville, Eggtropolis, or whatever, right? That Robotnik is growing the city out with his robotization protocol, right? Then you've got the jungle, the forest where Sonic and his friends live, and he's basically trying to keep the city from growing and taking over his locations. Maybe under the city, which is like where Dr. Robotnik's main lab is, right? So those are your 3 locations. And basically, you having to use Sonic's ability to traverse the environment, running fast up the side of a building to get to the top, just like doing things in order to slow down and stop and even reverse the growth of this robotic city. Of course, it's going to fail ultimately, and the city's going to turn out to be a giant floating egg star. That type of thing, because Dr. Robotnik loves doing that shit. And then you get the final confrontation between Sonic the Hedgehog and Dr. Robotnik on the Egg Doomstar or whatever. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And you actually exploring the city and you using the rings for something other than health. You could actually, I don't know.
Okay. You could use the rings for paying out to get this certain paths. You could use rings for protection.
Well, you could use rings. If you're playing as Sonic, you could use rings to buy better shoes that could give him special abilities. Maybe a bracelet that would give him, like, well, this is a fire bracelet. It lets you use a fire shield once you get up to a certain speed that protects you from, I don't know, the fire shield protects you from certain level projectiles, or the electro shield that acts like a magnet and pulls rings towards you, or, the invisible shield that makes you invisible. Shit like that. No, just running on rails away from something, or towards something, or away from something. It's like, come on, man, you're lazy.
With rings being only used for basically protection, and nothing else.
Well,
I mean, come on.
As a stand-in for health. It's like, oh, I lost my rings. As long as I got 1 ring, I'm fine. It's lazy. I'm just saying that could totally work.
Yeah, at least give us more to do with the ring in these games. Come on.
Well, I've got some breaking news for you guys. 2 hours ago, Final Fantasy VII Remake, the install size for 1/4 of the game is 100 gigs.
Oh, you're on
Wait.
Square Enix.
100 gigs for how much of a game?
A quarter, because it's broken up into a quarter, just like the original game was. A quarter of the game here, a quarter of the game there. Yeah.
I thought it was a third. Still,
A
that
third, a quarter. That's still cheap. You know.
yeah, I'm gonna say you guys got some real problems in Square Enix Village.
I don't know about that. They got 100 gigabytes worth of balls, is what they got.
Yeah, 100 GB.
Yeah, some bullshit, man.
I, I, I mean, I get on Nintendo's case a little bit when it comes to some of their file sizes, but seriously, you guys are taking home the Face Hog Awards. I mean, how I could not imagine any PlayStation or or Xbox system having 100 GB to hold all of that. At least at the moment.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's only a quarter of the game. So 25% of the game.
Some bullshit, man.
God dang. These people
I
are
mean,
out of
Square
minds.
Enix, someone at Square Enix needs their ass whooped for this shit. With an extension cord.
Yeah.
And that's
No
particularly
kidding.
vicious,
I
but
mean,
they
seriously.
need it. They need an ass whooping. I'm sorry. This is the bullshit. Like the original Final Fantasy VII was a I want to say a 1.3 gigabyte game, 1.2. I think no, it was 1.8 because it was 3 discs. It was 3 or 4 discs. I think each disc held 650 megabytes. And this is the shit we got to deal with, really? Jesus.
Well, what total and bullshit.
Yeah, that's some bullshit, alright.
I wish I. In fact, I could pull up the bullshit song, and that would describe exactly how that is.
This is some twice warmed over bullshit, too. This is some grade
Dang.
A. This is some grade A bullshit right here. So, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm definitely not getting that game.
Yeah.
That was
And it's not
How?
even, I'm going to be
And
honest with you.
I know YouTubers that are saying this is gonna be the best game ever, and I'm gonna look at them like, you guys must be on some methamphetamines.
These YouTubers are saying that shit because they want to get views.
Yeah, but
I don't give a fuck about views. And I'll be honest with you. This is some bullshit right here. I don't think anyone would be like, "Oh no, this isn't bullshit." Yeah, it is.
it's not just bullshit, mind you.
No, it is bullshit.
I was saying it's not just bullshit.
It's a load of bullshit.
It's a truck of.
Yeah. This isn't
yeah,
even.
it's not even the fact that it's using so much assets. It's got to be this big. It's the fact they're not compressing anything. They're not.
Well, I mean,
because they're like, oh well, gamers they'll just get a bigger hard drive. Hard drives were cheap.
I mean, I hate to say this. It's not even the lack of compression. It's like they completely missed the whole fucking point of what people wanted when they say remake Final Fantasy VII. All people wanted for a remake of Final Fantasy VII is for you to maybe, like, I hate to say this, maybe do what Microsoft did with Xenoblade Chronicles X and Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Where basically that active time battle system, you have your automatic attacks and your special attacks to use a cooldown. that is the next step, the next logical step from the old school turn-based active time battle system that we had, back in the day that you had in Final Fantasy VII. That's all people wanted. Just that game, just that style of gameplay with your Final Fantasy characters, your Cloud Strife, all that shit. Maybe a side story where you get to save Eris in an alternate reality or some shit. That's it. That's all people wanted on one disc. You do not. I mean, I know Square Enix is desperately. They need the money because they've been running the Final Fantasy franchise into the goddamn ground. So they're splitting this up into three or four installments so they can get the money. But what if this game bombs and you just get this one part of the game? What happens then? Huh?
That's all.
Jesus.
Well, yeah, it's it. People just don't understand that, these file sizes are just gonna get more and more ridiculous.
Yeah.
How much is Red Dead 2? It's like 120 gigs.
Yeah, but that's a whole goddamn game.
That's true.
This is only a third of a game. This is what the.
So how long? Why are they dragging out the whole Midgar thing?
Because they want to break up into pieces so that they can charge people more money for the shit. That's all it is.
I just I try to tell people your dreams are about to get ruined.
Yeah.
It's like they put all their hopes in this Final Fantasy VII remake, and you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, and they're gonna get mad.
For me, I keep on saying, I keep watching this and saying they're gonna do more stupid. And oh God, was I right?
Yeah, everyone's like, oh no, it's not gonna be that bad. I'm like, look, you clearly don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's clear to me that you don't know what in the hell you're talking about.
It's like they got glasses that are so red, so rose-colored that they're red.
Basically.
Probably gouging out their eyes while they're at it.
I mean, look, listen, I understand. People don't want to listen. Final Fantasy VII is a cult. Final Fantasy. Like, the reason I don't think highly of Final Fantasy VII is because people are like, yeah, it's a good game. No. It's not a good game. You think it's a good game because Square Enix and Sony spent like millions of dollars. Like almost half a billion dollars, fucking propping that game. Advertising that game. I mean, if someone spent like $500 million to tell you that, a bag of purple shit was the best purple shit in the world, you'd think it was good too. Whether it was or not, you would think it. So, I mean, I'm tired of people, oh, it's a good game. Nah, I don't think so. I really don't. I would never say that Final Fantasy VII is a good Final Fantasy. I would say there are better Final Fantasies out there. But, because, I mean, if you talk to the people who claim that they're Final Fantasy VII fans, you're like, okay, well, what other Final Fantasies did you play aside from 7? It's only Final Fantasy VII for, like, most of them.
If anything, I could at least make an excuse that I played Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy 1 for my side, but if anything, that's a mix.
I mean, legitimately, how good can a game be if you only played how good can a franchise be if you only played one game of it? It's kind of like people who say that they're Metroid Prime fans, but they only played one damn game.
And funny enough, it was the first Metroid Prime game that kept me away from the other Metroid Prime games.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, Metroid Prime is kind of rough. I know some people are like, no, it's a good game. I'm like,
Well, I'm not the only one that thinks.
The first Metroid Prime isn't bad, but if you play Metroid Prime Echoes or Metroid Prime 3, it gets so much better.
Yeah.
The first Metroid Prime adheres too closely to the normal conventions that you get in a Metroid Prime game, to its detriment. Whereas Metroid Prime Echoes is more streamlined in a good way. And Metroid Prime 3 is just, it's a good game. It's a better game. And I know some people are going to get mad at me when I say that, but it's true. It is a better game. So. And Metroid Prime 3, in my opinion, is exponentially better than Metroid Prime 1 and 2.
Bye.
Yeah, I said it.
So what else? What other topics we have?
No, that's it. Just that was the only one. That was the last
Yeah,
one.
and we're near 9 o'clock, so if anything, this would be a good time to close out.
Yeah, that's the end. The end.
So if anything, I'll be the one to say it. Don't forget that we do have Discord, we have Twitter, we have email, and I think we have other ways of reaching us, but I'm not sure how many.
We do. To get in touch with the cast via Gmail, you can reach me at mrredfoxbsbusters@gmail.com. You can also reach me at Twitter at Matthew Westlake, Mr. Redfox91, etc., etc. You can also reach me at Discord. There's a link in the description of this podcast on YouTube where you can reach us that way as well. Stay tuned. I will have my full review of the Switch port of Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore. So with that being said, that's the end of the podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe.
Do you play games to have fun or to impress people?
Yeah, I personally only play games to impress other people. Fuck having fun. So with that being said, that's the end of the podcast. Peace, good night, and enjoy.
And hype responsibly.